introducing today, Eddie?
Yeah. Hey guys, welcome back for another episode of the GhettoRig podcast. For those who don't know, my name is Eddie. To my left, we have my co-host Jay. Behind the camera, we have Miggy. Yeah, a little sneak peek. Behind the camera, we have Miggy. And shout out to our sponsors, UFC Gym Largo, Pinellas Park, and Vitality Wellness Centers. Today we got a special guest, a co-worker of mine and Miguel's, Mr. Austin. Austin, introduce yourself a little bit.
NUGZ.
AKA NUGZ, as you see in the title. Austin, introduce yourself. Tell us what you do, how old you are, where you're from.
How old I am? Yeah, so I mean, me and Eddie are co-workers. We both work at the same place. I am 25 years old, 24 years old, and I was born in St. Petersburg.
Oh shit, you're like a local. Like you're actually St.
Yeah,
Pete.
I'm
St.
from here.
Pete. That's pretty cool.
I'm from here, man. Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Single or married?
Not neither.
Neither.
Neither. I'm not married. Not married yet.
You cuffed up?
Huh?
You cuffed up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You got a girl?
Girlfriend.
I
Yeah.
told him
Nice.
he's already married.
Girlfriend of 7 years.
Oh,
told-
7, bro. You married, bro.
That's what I told him, man.
married.
They-
That's a domestic
they're already-
partnership
they-
at this point.
That's what
You guys
I
live
get a lot.
together?
Yeah.
Okay,
we
yeah,
do.
that's
That's what I
domestic
told. That's literally the
That's-
same. That's literally the same route I took him through. Like, how long you guys live
Yeah.
together? Yeah.
Yeah, I
you're
hear it
married.
all the time.
How long
from
you been
people.
together? Like living together?
We've been living together for 2 years almost.
Okay. Okay, so it's kind of like new. It's kind of like a
Well, how long
honeymoon
can you
stage.
expect them to be living together? He's only 25 too. You know
No,
what
I get
So,
that, but they've been
24.
together
24. So.
Like
Seven.
almost 25.
Oh, so you were like high school sweethearts, whatever.
No, we met at my first job. That was when I worked at Winn-Dixie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You
So-
met her there at Winn
Yeah.
Dixie?
Yeah, she was actually like in charge of me there.
Oh, really?
So that
Oh,
was
so
like,
you were s-
and like our first interaction was like, she like got totally pissed off at me. So
Perfect.
that was like the first impression of me. I kind
What
of just
did
looked
you
like a
do?
jackass. I didn't really do anything. I walked
That's
up.
how it usually happens.
I didn't have any $1 bills in my cash register.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked up and I was like, "Hey, I just need some more $1 bills." And she like looked at me like I was stupid. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? I was still brand new. And apparently it was because I was supposed to bring her a $50 bill, which I had no idea.
In return, yeah.
Yeah, I had
Oh,
no idea how to do that. So that was her first
Bro.
impression of me.
Bro, I would have done the same damn thing. Like, yo, boss, I need dollars. You
That's
know
it.
what
I
I
just
mean?
need $1 bills, man. That was it. That was
You
all.
didn't understand the whole
That was all.
process
Yeah,
behind it.
and I was
yeah.
like, we could just set it. I would have brought up a $50 bill, but That was
Nah,
it.
man, you're fine.
Off to a great foot on the
I was,
start.
I was gonna
Yeah,
ask, was it the fucking can stocking skills that, like, got you?
Yeah,
got
well,
you noticed?
No, I mean, I don't know. We just started hanging out, and then I mean that kind of just went from there. We were good friends.
So you didn't meet her until after high school. So you started working at Winn Dixie after high school?
Yeah.
Well,
No, I mean, I was
at 17, so.
I was working. I started working there December of 2016, and then I worked there up until like January 2023. I
Oh
think.
shit, you had a long stint.
I
at
worked
Winn
there
Dixie.
for forever,
16
man.
to 2023?
Yeah, I worked there for like
Shit.
6 years. It was like around 6 years.
Were
I
you
think.
running the store by the
Yeah,
time it was done?
yeah, I turned into a manager.
Oh,
So
shit.
then it went
Okay.
from she was like in charge of me to then like, I was like in charge of her.
Nice.
Is
That
that,
was great.
is that when the whole thing happened when she's like, oh, he's the boss now?
It was actually like it became like a problem because like
Because you had to
when
do
we would
HR
have
bullshit.
well yeah because like we'd have to like take care of like the money and like drop money into like the safe and stuff, and they started saying we were like a conflict of interest and like
Yeah.
but like they're so understaffed that like they just had to like run with it anyways. We just did the thing, and I mean she kind of like she worked there for a pretty good amount of time. She like left and then came back because of like COVID and everything. She like lost her other job, so she came back, and since I was there, like I knew everyone, and I was just like, hey, she'd be good to do it. She was great. She was great there.
So did you have to go through HR? Because I know that's like big, and especially
Yeah,
bigger companies.
So the way that they kind of, because like at store level, no one really like cared
Cares,
about
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
because everyone's kind of like
Yeah.
they also knew that like we were like mature enough to like not be like doing something that like messing with like the money or like doing like any like that stuff. And it was during COVID, and what happened was when you get sick, you gotta like tell them like, oh, have you been around certain people, and like they would do this whole like they would call out to like everyone, and they'd call you if you were sick, and they'd say, hey, who have you been around, and all this. And I think it was actually I think it was Sarah's brother, because he also worked there, Jackson. I think it was him that said that he had been around both me and Sarah, and then they tied it in that like there was like, I don't know. All I know is I came in one day and our manager goes, well, they basically just said this, that you guys can't like work the same shift anymore or something. And then I don't know, they said that and it happened. It lasted for like a week, and then they just went back
kind
to
of
what
forced,
we
and
normally
they
did.
just
Yeah, I mean, it's
work.
like I don't really think they cared that much, but
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, yeah, we worked.
Which Winn-Dixie was this? You don't have to say it if you don't want
It's
to.
oh no, it actually closed down. It was on 9th Street and 34th Avenue. I think if you just go straight down.
1934.
Yeah, there was like there's like a post office there.
Yeah.
There's
I don't spend a lot of time like down on 4th Street.
yeah,
so
Winn-Dixie sucks too. So I mean,
Yeah,
MLK and 34th
Yes,
Street, but
yes.
that's like getting close to like a pretty rough area right there.
No.
that was actually a pretty good area.
Yeah, that's still a good area, dog. What do you mean? That's
Yeah.
34. Like he's talking about 34th Avenue. This one, not 34th Avenue South.
Not 34th Street.
You know,
9th Street and 34th
9th Street and
Avenue.
34th
Okay.
Avenue.
Yeah, so like
Yeah, so they ended up turning it into, it's going to be like an Aldi now, I guess. So like they closed it down like this February, I think. And it was kind of like we did me and my girlfriend, her name is Sarah. We did like a drive by it to see it because it's closed. It's just
Yeah.
all like they got like all like the windows blacked out and everything. The whole place was like empty
yeah,
before, but and I know it sounds like ridiculous, like like they did like a drive by, but it's like that was where we. Like,
yeah. You spent
that was,
countless hours there.
I mean, I worked there for forever. It felt
Dude, I
like
would do
literally
the same
forever.
Thing. If Best Buy closed down, I would do the exact same thing.
16
Drive by.
to 23, bro. Like you're looking at 7 years. That's a
Yeah,
lot
I
of time,
worked
man.
there for like it actually felt like forever. And I mean, it wasn't a bad job. Like I learned. I mean, honestly, like the pay sucked and like the job also sucked. But like I'm saying, it wasn't a bad job because it like taught me a lot. I think about like caring about like your job and like not because a lot of people would go there and they'd work there and they'd suck.
Well, no,
So it
because
was like-
anytime you're in charge of people, especially if people like not getting paid a lot, bro, like managing their schedule, people calling out, like talking people into like it's a nightmare.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was and the amount of call outs and all that stuff that would go on there was like insane. And then you'd have like 2 cashiers like only, right? And then you got all these people and they're all getting mad at you because like you only have 2 people, but it's like you can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
Like you
there's
can't
nobody
force
else.
people to come into work. Like I can't just and then you'd call people who were off and they'd be like, "Oh, no, I'm good." And it's just like, "Okay, well, this is what we got tonight." And then
that
you
happened.
got
That happened a lot at Best Buy, especially because like at a certain time during like right after COVID, they were only having like 2 people per section and like per department basically.
Yeah.
And that shit sucked, man. So I would go in the mornings and I'd be like, okay, there's like 3 people already waiting outside. I can tell they're waiting
So
for some
stressful.
Yeah.
for some phone shit because I work in
Yeah.
the cell phone
Yeah,
area.
the like pickup thing.
No, like actual cell phones, like sold cell
Oh,
phones,
okay.
and I like we did like the screen replacement for the protector or
Okay.
whatever. Anyways, and there'd be like 4 people coming in like 10 a.m. and it's like, damn, where's this other person? And I'm just I'm fucked. Like
Yeah. Yeah. It
seriously.
just feels like it's just never gonna end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that. Or like especially the same thing would happen for the closing. That's the worst when it happens at a closing shift. You gotta sit there and serve people after.
Oh yeah,
my God.
yeah. We would do an announcement. It'd be like 10. They used to stay open until 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And thankfully they changed it. It only went down to like 10.
So let me ask you this: didn't Winn-Dixie do a Chapter 11 like bankruptcy thing?
Yeah, they did.
Okay,
And
can
they
you?
sent out a whole notice to like everyone that like worked there when
Yeah.
that happened. Yeah.
So can you
Forced
talk?
to, pretty sure.
Yeah, can you talk about this? Because a lot of people don't understand. Like when you get to these big companies, like bankruptcy is not like like a small place. They're bankrupt. They close the doors down. Like these people work through. Like
Yeah.
how did that work out?
I
Like,
mean, well, so like the way that they did it, what I remember like the most about it, because like they did talk about it, like the store managers would like mention stuff about that, and then honestly like at like store level, we had like a lot of people like come in because like people find out about that stuff and everyone comes in, they go, oh, so this place is shutting down, and it's like as an associate, like you don't really know like
Yeah.
what's going on. Like you have like literally no idea what. I mean, nothing ended up happening to us like when that happened, but they did start like closing down like other places, and I mean that, and then I mean that kind of like the whole Aldi thing that happened.
Yeah.
A lot. I only knew a few of the people that like still worked there at like the time, but they were basically given like a ultimatum, like they can either take a severance or like just have no job. That was, or like get hired at Aldi or something. They had to go through like the whole process again, and like
Well,
they
that's
did
kind
kinda,
of
like-
cool. Like they actually gave him severance because these
Yeah,
are pretty
it was,
low-paying
like-
jobs.
it was
they're-
like a month, like a month's pay, I think, or
which
like,
which is
you could
fine.
do-
It's
yeah.
still like, you
A
know
lot
what I
of
mean.
people, a lot
It'll
of
at
places
least,
don't give
yeah,
severance.
it'll at least cover you until you know you're.
Maybe you can find another job for. I mean, a month
Yeah.
is a good amount of time to find.
Yeah,
a job.
it's just like the people that like, based on my experience there, like the people that, like work there, like some of them, like you know, they would hire people that were like, you know, like disabled and stuff, like people that
Yeah.
couldn't just you know go and get like another job. And there
Yeah.
were two people that worked there. They were both baggers, and they worked there the entire time I was there. Like they were like they had been there way before I got there, and then the entire time that I was there.
Damn.
And like guys like that, like it's sad because like who knows
What
like
ended
where
up
they're gonna
happening.
go. I mean, obviously you can go find a job, but it's like
Yeah,
More
not
different-
everyone knows like how they are, and like
Yeah.
they will do the job, they will work, and you know, but
It's more
Yeah.
difficult when you're in that kind of situation for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
You don't
that's
just
another
pick
thing.
up and find another job.
yeah,
Because you have to think about this. That was part of the that push was because you saw like before right, like long, I'm talking about 10 15 years ago, 20 years ago, when I first came to the United States, you wouldn't see that many disabled people working. But then as the government DEI thing started, they started hiring more people, and now that they cut off this whole DEI thing,
I feel like you started seeing disabled people working before the DEI thing.
Yeah.
I feel like their inclusion into like the work market was a lot quicker than the whole DEI thing.
nice.
He
That's,
worked there too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's Jackson. He
works with us, too.
We actually just call him dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he also worked there. He said he ran into him at 60. He's like, oh, so then he must have went to the other store that's like right down the road.
Okay.
So one of those guys
Well,
got another job like the other place.
that's
but
pretty cool.
yeah,
at least you found
that's
another
nice.
place.
I mean, yeah, just you know.
Well, that's what I was saying. Since they like remove the DEI, like how is that gonna work? You know, are they gonna? Still...
I think that when it comes to like disabled people, that's a whole nother like
Well, talking
section
about,
of-
bro, I was at this Publix, right, and there was a bagger, and the guy clearly he couldn't see. He was blind,
Yeah.
right, and I was like literally like taken back how well this guy did his job without being able to see shit.
maybe he was Daredevil.
Maybe. I don't know, bro. I don't know if it was the smell,
Hey,
the
you know,
hearing,
man,
whatever
I
it
mean-
was, bro. The homeboy would just go like this, like pop, 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 find it, kind of feel it, and put it in the correct bag. Like, you know how they have like bags for like the
yeah,
food
you're supposed
and
to
like
separate.
yeah,
and
so
stuff,
bro,
yeah.
homeboy would just like touch it and he knew exactly what it was. And
pretty
it was just
impressive,
like back, bro. I was watching the entire time, and I know I was staring. I looked stupid just staring.
Well, at least he didn't know.
Good
you were
thing he
staring.
didn't know I was
Yeah.
there, but he could probably feel
it,
me. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was like impressive as shit how this guy did it, and then there's like, you know, you run into some autistic people that are like high functioning autistic people. Like
Yeah.
they'll do the job really well too. So like it's kind of cool that companies like
You try to fuck with him a little bit. Let's see if you can guess this one.
oh
Try,
like
like,
you
get-
give him like a curveball or something. You know what I mean?
Different
we had a guy, oh, man, I forget. Oh, his name was Gabe, and he worked at Winn-Dixie with us, and he was like, the kid was super smart. Like you could just like, yeah, I believe that he was like, he had like high functioning autism or something. He was super smart. He could draw like insanely good, but like him at work was just like, he was not like that great.
Yeah.
You know, he would use, I'm not gonna say like he would like use his like autism to like get
As an
out of things,
excuse,
but like
but-
he was definitely like, he was incredibly smart, and he found places to like hide like all around like the store. Like he would go to like, I remember we found him in the back room one time. He had put some like, he had crawled like into like a shelf area and then like covered it up with like paper towels or something.
He
And it's
built
like,
a
dude, come
paper
on,
towel
man.
for it,
Yeah,
bro?
it's
Well,
like,
wait,
are
what
you
was he
doing?
doing? Just chilling there?
Yeah, he was just sitting there. He was on his like phone or something. Yeah. And my manager found him, and my manager like he liked him, so he was just like, "Come on, man! Like, what do you like? You know, he wasn't gonna like get mad at him, but it was just like, "Geez, dude, like,
That's
just gonna hide
hilarious.
in the back room." And like the kid knew that he was doing it. Like, it wasn't like
Yeah.
like, oh, you know, maybe not. Like, no, he definitely knew, and he would just do stuff like that like almost all of the time. But you know,
Because you run
he showed up.
Yeah, sometimes you run.
I imagine he probably scared a couple people hiding in certain places.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like you come around
I'm
a corner and the fucker's just in the corner.
He also just had like no filter, which I think was his biggest like issue.
Yeah.
Was like he'd be standing out and bagging people's groceries and he'd say some crazy stuff.
So that he might have had what they call Asperger's, which is like a very light.
I think that he actually did. I think
Yeah.
that he did. I think that that's what we heard that he had, and he would say some stuff like when he was bagging people's groceries and people would come up and go like, what did, like, they'd be mad. And
Yeah.
it's like, look, I mean, not that like we can't we can't just like reprimand him and be like, hey, you can't, like, I guess we kind of could tell him that like he can't say that stuff, and like we would try, but it's like,
How do
people
you
gotta
explain it? You
understand
can't
like
So
they are disabled.
The
So it's,
biggest thing about Asperger's is they have no filter. Like that's
Yeah.
like so it's like a mild, very very mild, mild on the spectrum of autism. So it's still in the group of autism, right? So he's still autistic basically.
yeah.
But Asperger's is like a very very minor version. The biggest thing is they have no filter. Anything that they think, like all the intrusive thoughts, all the intrusive thoughts that you ever think of when you see someone in
Yeah.
person or whatever,
Dude,
they just come out. And they have no control over it.
I wish I could like remember some of like like he would say really weird things. Like it would just be like, it would be stuff like you would never even anticipate anyone even like thinking of, but he would just say it.
Yeah.
And he'd just be like, oh yeah,
It's
it's fine.
normal, yeah.
And the people would like look at him like they wanted to kill him. And I'd be like, oh no, yeah, look, he's a little bit different, but
It's real special, so you gotta
like, look,
understand.
there's not,
But sometimes you run into people like, lights are on, but nobody's at home.
yeah.
And then sometimes you run into people that are like, lights are on, somebody's there, but this motherfucker not answering the door. You know what I mean? Like, he just straight out is like ignoring you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Oh shit! I think that's the most frustrating one. When you can tell someone just doesn't care to give the attention, and that's why
Yeah.
they're being stupid. It's like you're smart enough, you can do it, and you have the capability, but you just don't care enough.
Yeah.
That's the most annoying ones to me. I mean, like when you can see potential and someone just wastes all of it.
so how did it all go? So you were at Winn Dixie, and then how did you end up with these guys? Or how did it?
So I started basically, and I mean even like Miguel, we all kind of like knew each other from school. Like I knew who he once smacked a customer.
No way!
Yeah, exactly. That is exactly what I'm talking about.
Go
right
ahead
there.
and tell.
That is exactly what I'm talking about.
So, dude commented. He said he once smacked a customer's beef package and said, "Who's your daddy?"
Bro, I would not get mad at it. I would just laugh at it. You know what I mean? That would be so funny to me. But I can see how like some Karen or some dude, they get mad at that shit. I just laugh at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm glad that he remembers that, because that's like why I had no idea. Like I couldn't recall it because it would be stuff like that, and it would be like all the time.
Knowing me, I'd probably be like, the first thing that goes through my head is, "Are you fucking retarded?"
Wait, you trying to get us canceled on
Jeez,
YouTube?
dude.
Nigga, come on, bro. Are you fucking?
Wait. Let's not act like we're gonna start having a filter now. So yeah, how'd you move on from Winn Dixie to the marketing guru that is NUGZ today?
Yeah. So while I was working at Winn Dixie, I like started working with Cam.
Yeah.
And
Cam.
it was
That's what I
very
was thinking about.
yeah.
We met him at the lake.
No.
Oh.
Yeah. No. Okay, fine.
Yeah, so I knew Cam from like we met in like middle school, and he started like his whole business and stuff, and he had talked to me like in 2020, which was like right when like started like getting like really bad, even like for like grocery stores and stuff, because like we were like the only place open in 2020. Like everything else was closed. We were just like trying to stay afloat, and he was like, hey, you want to come and like try this out for like a little bit. And I was like in school and stuff, so like I didn't really know, But I started working with him like a little bit, and I decided I didn't want to do it. You know, I just went right back to Winn-Dixie, kept on doing college, and then eventually, I had like I thought I was gonna go further in college, I guess. So I was kind of like really doing that.
Yeah, you were
and I got to a point where I was just like, not that I wanted to stop, but it just I kind of realized it wasn't gonna take me anywhere. So instead of just sitting at Winn-Dixie, you know, I decided I'd go do something else, which, you know, told Cameron like, hey, you know, I think I'd be good to, you know, just start like working with you. And he was thrilled because he needed help, and you know, he knew I was gonna be a good guy for it. And then, you know,
what were you going to school for?
I was originally going for software engineering, I believe, and then I changed over to like cybersecurity. That was when I was gonna like get out. What kind of kicked like my whole schooling thing was I had to take a lot of like math classes and stuff, which was fine, but I passed everything, but like I had like a couple C's, and my GPA got knocked like really bad, and they said I basically like couldn't continue in like the program unless I like retook those classes that I got those C's in, and that would have costed me, you know, more money to go do that, and then to go, I mean, a semester is, you know, what, 4 or 5 months,
16 weeks. So
yeah. And but I mean, you know, through like the course of like school, it ends up being you know,
plus,
you
plus
the vacations and
you have 16 weeks,
I mean,
plus like either in the winter they give you Thanksgiving the whole week, or
so
and then they give you spring break now.
It would have
like,
just been like I would have had to do 2 more semesters of just those classes, like just to like continue. And then I kind of like looked at it, and you know, I'm not like bashing on college, but like I kind of was just like, it felt kind of like ridiculous to me, you know, because I'd passed everything. I'd done, you know, what I thought I needed to do.
Yeah.
But
what math classes were there? Do you remember?
So I
like
went up as high as Calc 2.
Calc 2.
Which was the worst.
Well, yeah.
That was the absolute worst class I'd ever taken in college. I mean, it was just, it was.
That's what my
terrible.
brother was saying until he got to Calc 3, and then when he got to Calc 3, he was like, bro, this is child's play.
Oh yeah. So what, like, Calc 3 got like easier for him?
No. He was saying that Calc 2 was child's play in comparison to Calc 3. Yeah.
It's just all terrible, man. It's just all horrible. I mean, I barely got through Calc 1, but I had to take Calc 2. So that was like,
well, I know calculus. I know 2 college careers personally. My girlfriend and my best friends have ended due to calculus. So it's just not easy. And Rodolfo's smart as fuck. Like, you know, probably the smartest person when it comes to math that I know at my age. And he was like, fuck that shit.
Well, the problem with math is, and a lot of people, like, math is important. You need to understand. Like, math shows whether you can think logically, right? I get it. Yep. Fine. The problem with math is, bro, like, if you don't practice math for 2 weeks, you literally forget fucking everything you've learned. You literally forget. You have to be constantly doing that shit.
It's such a tedious, like, meticulous process that you have to learn for like one kind of section of math that, you know, without practicing it over and over and over and keeping it fresh in your mind, it just
the thing is, when you get to those Calc 2 and 3, what happens is they'll give you a formula, but then you have to combine 3 different formulas together just to figure out a exponent, and then you got to fucking combine all the other formulas, and you have to recall that shit from memory. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it just takes hours and hours and hours, which I think in the United States we have very busy lives, and you don't really necessarily have the time to sit down and just do hours and hours of the same fucking thing where that's burned into your brain. Even when you do that shit, after 2 weeks you forget everything.
I will say though, I feel like you look back on it and it's like
also the iPad of third. And sorry to cut you off, but that's a third world that's the iPad of third world countries. That's why they're so smart, because parents will be like, "You don't got nothing to do. Go do something."
Correct. Yeah, because most kids that go to college, you know, outside the United States, they don't really work, you know, like we do.
That's what I was gonna get into. Is, you know, a lot of people that end up going through college, and I'm not saying, you know, a lot of people don't as well, but you have these people that go to college and they just straight up, that's all they do. They go from high school to college and they never work. And the moment they're done with college, when they start working, I look back on that now and I can't imagine not working a single point when, like, a single day of my life up until like now. Like, for example, I'm 23, so I would have probably graduated college. Let's say, being optimistic, last year, maybe, right, 4 or 5 years.
But
And
here's the catch
I can't
22 though.
imagine.
Like if you think about it, what's better, right? Like is it better like cuz United States we're a very individualistic society, which means like once we hit 18, we kind of want to have our own thing, like work our own, make our own money because we want to get this, that, the third, not necessarily be dependent on our parents. We kind of want to like I want to do this, and for me to do this, I need to earn money in order to spend the money on the things that I want to spend the money on. But then outside of United States, a little bit different. Like a lot of these people will live with their parents till like 30, 35, 40 years old, right? Now, what do you guys think is better? Like you getting in at 18, like jumping right into the bills. You're trying to figure out how to keep an apartment over, roof over your head. There's the third, the fourth, or just kind of like taking the time where you don't have those responsibilities.
I think
with
it
the
depends
parents.
on what you've decided at that point in your life. So most people don't know what the fuck they want to do. And if you don't know what you want to do, college is definitely not the thing for you.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of people go to college and they pick a degree that is valuable, can be used and make them money. And they don't even use it because they don't even like it. Right? Or they find something else.
Well,
so
the college degree, see, the thing with college degrees is I always had this idea while I was going through college that, college degree is going to prepare me for the workplace. No,
so
that ain't it.
That's where I'm going to go with
It
this.
doesn't.
I think that if you, let's say, optimal situation, you have made up your mind. You know what you want to do. If what you want to do requires college, it requires college. It's as simple as that. But if the thing you want to do is something that maybe, for example, like us, we went and worked under someone that's a business owner, right, and built a successful business. Maybe that's what we want to do. That's what you should go and spend your time is working under that person, learning the craft directly hands-on. I mean, some of the guys we work with are going to college for what we're doing, and they tell us how bullshit it is.
Yeah.
So
Well, you also have to look at it because when you look into A-tier colleges or Ivy League colleges, the problem is not that. It's not what you're learning there. Yeah, it's going to give you the knowledge, whatever. It might even give you yes, that's it. That's where I was going with it. It's the fucking connections. Because even if you look at it, like we've talked about this, like there's this company. The name is Palantir, and they're the number one company right now that has anything to do with AI in companies, right? So the vice president and Vivek Ramaswamy, they were friends at Harvard. But they're also knew the owner of Palantir. But owner of Palantir, knowing these guys ended up coming into the power, right, basically. And they brought him in. And now 40% of the Palantir's money comes from the United States government. Like, yeah, the guy is smart, created an amazing company. But if he didn't have these connections, who knows if that would have happened. So I think the connections are important. And I think what the problem is, a lot of times we say, okay, well, to our kids, go to college. Okay, fine. You're going to St. Petersburg College. Like, what connections are you gonna fucking make? Right?
Nothing. That's
I mean,
what I got when I was
even
there.
at USF, what connections are you gonna
Local?
make at USF? At UF
Very,
level,
very local,
yeah, even at UF, which is considered the best Florida school. Fuck it, let's talk about Stetson.
The people I stuck with in
UF
in SPC with were people that I already knew from middle school or high school.
Correct. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's how. Yeah.
Yes.
That's how it was.
So, like, what connections are you making? Like, you're not meeting these people that are gonna eventually end up like running big companies where now you kind of maintain these connections.
It's
right?
funny how you look at it as time goes on. Half of the people in our office all went to the same middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like a lot of like different people. It's a lot of familiar faces, and then going on, it's weird that you stick around with the same people. It's like even what I'm trying to say is like making the comparison, even at like really high echelons of life, like Palantir, and then even at really low echelons of life, like comparison to us, I guess you would say. Connections is still there.
Well, yeah, you
it's
do.
what still makes it all.
You do business with people you like, right? Like otherwise you wouldn't do it. Like you're always being sold by people you love, right? You like, So I don't know, man. It's just interesting. But anyway, so you transitioned to this company.
Although
and
sometimes we do make questionable choices as to who we work with.
Sometimes.
Pause. I don't know. What are we doing here?
It's all right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Y'all know there's got to be an inside thing.
I don't know. I actually don't know.
It's an inside joke. But
Oh, okay.
So now you've been there since 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yep.
So what do you like about the job and what you don't like about the job? Because I know what these guys do, right? Like Miggy's more into video production stuff. Eddie's more into photo and stuff.
They would know me from otherwise.
Yeah, so he's a photo guy.
He's the photo guy.
Miggy is the photo guy.
But I thought
he
he
is.
does more video shit.
No. He's the
He's
photo
pretty
guy.
Video. I mean, he's pretty photo. That's his
Yeah.
expertise.
When
Who's the video person there?
I mean, everyone takes video. You go on a shoot by yourself. You gotta take video, and everyone edits video. Miggy still edits videos, but like what is Miggy known for in the office? Definitely being the photo.
So who's known for the video?
I mean, probably, yeah, probably
Toberson.
Toby. Yeah,
Toby.
Toby is insane at video editing. I mean,
Toby
he's
Cooks.
like,
That's his nickname.
yeah,
literally.
so Toby basically is just strictly video edits.
Like,
he
for
doesn't go
example-
out and film, or he doesn't go out. He just gets the stuff, and he just makes some incredibly fire
Yeah,
video
he's
out of it.
super
I mean,
good. I mean,
it's like he can make terrible footage look fantastic somehow. So,
like all of us, we have to spend every Monday doing posts. He's too important for that. He gets to do video. He just does video. He doesn't have to worry about
He
like
doesn't have to do
post
anything
accounts and like doing something. Just video. No photos. Hell no. No.
What is it? The creative mind, or does he have like tricks that he uses and stuff like that?
He
or is
just
He's just
knows
been doing it.
so
I think
much.
He's been doing it
Yeah.
for like a while.
He,
I mean,
it's experience that he has.
Yeah, he is. I mean, when he started working there with us, it was last.
because it's not
year
just cut and
sometime.
splice shit, right? Like
No.
He
no.
goes like
He's creative.
he
with
goes
it.
from
good.
the normal.
We have drinks.
He,
You see my dad offering. I
yeah,
told you. What did I say?
nice. he goes from like our normal editing software to some like extra one to make it look a little bit different, and then brings it back in, and he does like all this. I mean, I could probably sit behind him for a whole
Hours.
day and just
Yeah.
learn a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, like what Eddie does and like what I do, like I mean, I'm pretty good at video editing and photos, and like I just know how to do like a lot of it.
Yeah.
Not like.
Or is it a little more intimidating when you have somebody watching over you, like what you're doing? I feel like
Oh,
he
yeah.
has,
Yeah,
absolutely.
He has that too because
Absolutely.
I stood behind him to see
Yeah.
what he does,
And he slows down.
Yeah, he slows
down.
He's
do it
like,
anymore.
He doesn't
Yeah.
know what to do.
Well, and you know what? It might be because he's trying to protect his craft, man. I
That's-
mean,
Yeah.
that's true.
you can't
not
you
give out
can't
the
steal
secret,
his
the sauce.
man.
Yeah.
I mean, you just got to find it by yourself.
Yeah. You
I mean, maybe that's it.
you gotta
Toby's
get-
making sure he's never gonna do posts.
Hey, you know what? I mean, look, he's great at what he does.
Yeah.
So I mean,
You
let him
gotta
keep
be
doing
like a
it.
professor. Professor, can I see you at 6?
Because like I'm not gonna lie, when we were doing the podcast and we had to get videos done and stuff like that. I don't know whether it wasn't my job or because I had to like carve out time out of my day to do it. Man, I hated editing videos. Like I dislike
Oh
doing
yeah,
that.
it's bad.
So
It's just bad.
It's just
So
like
I
matching
don't like
the
it.
words and like
Yeah.
all of that stuff.
I
man,
feel
it's
like it
just
depends,
annoying.
right? So it all depends on what you're editing, right? So if you're editing, like for example, we like fishing, right? And we do a lot of fishing shit. Sometimes you create something, you're like, damn, that looks cool, and it gives you a sense of satisfaction. And like as you're making it, you're checking it back and forth, right, to make sure you're doing it good as you go, and you get to see the progression, and that's kind of satisfying and can be fun. But then sometimes you gotta deal with like sack footage or something that's extremely boring. Someone's sitting there talking for 20 minutes and doesn't know how to talk, and you're having to like, you know how many times you'll listen to a clip and be like, okay, she's talking good, boom, boom, boom. And you're like sitting there listening, and it's like 4 minutes long, and you get to the end, she fucks up, and you figure out that they found that the actual good shot was like later on, and you gotta like look through every single fuck
Yeah.
up and find it. That shit can be annoying for
I
sure.
mean, I would say that it's fun. Editing is fun to do when it's like
When it's
something
done.
that, like when it's something
it's
that
done.
is, yeah. I mean, yeah. But like if you're taking a video and you're actually doing something that's like creative, I think that's like the cool part is like seeing that like come to life. Like
Yeah.
you have like an idea for something like cool.
Uh-huh.
Like I mean, you've seen some like the stuff I've done. Some of those a lot of the stuff I do I'm like proud of, but it's kind of like at the end of like the day, it's just like another video.
It's just
man.
another
So
talking video,
It's like
just another reel.
we got plenty more to do. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of like, I mean, it's cool. I think the coolest part about our job is going out and creating content. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's the best. Going out and being able to like see different areas and going out and
That is actually a good point, though. We never get to bask in our work. Meaning, like, we never really, like, sit back and, like, damn, we did this, we did that, we did...
I mean, we do a lot of stuff.
we
man.
do
I
so
mean,
much
we
that it's
do a
kind of
whole
just,
ton.
like, once it's done,
on.
get it done,
Yep,
move on.
move
like,
on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Don't-
no,
don't
I
keep
can
looking
see
at
what
it.
you're
I mean-
saying. It's like at first when I started working with my job, seeing the zeros was like, oh, now it's like, all right, just zeros. It is what it is.
Yeah,
know what I
when
mean?
you...
Yeah.
Like, just another 9 zeros. Who cares? You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Like, yeah, that's the same thing. When I first started working, I would see a lot of the content we did, and I was like, damn, this shit looks so cool. Now it's just another one.
It's
This
just
is-
like
it's just another
keep
one.
on going. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
And it
Become
and it
callous
and it kind of like, yeah, it gets you a callous to your work. It's weird because you got to enjoy it still at one point. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, but that's because it goes from being like, oh wow, this is really interesting. Like when you first start doing it, to like, okay, this is work. Like this isn't just like, it's not like just like for fun. At this point, it's like now we're having to obviously do
There's some
do this
stress.
stuff.
Well,
So, I mean, it's
like if you each had to choose a project, which one was like your, like, okay, this was my baby, and I'm like really proud of this one, or you like doing it? Which
I don't know if I can say I've done something like that yet. I haven't done any like crazy video edits. I've made a few things that I'm like really proud of. Not proud of, but like I was like, damn, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I think that's good to do too. I mean,
Yeah.
just look at your stuff and be like, this is good.
Like we do a lot of like fishing stuff. Like he took some videos in the studio, some like reels that we do, and he had me edit them. He had already done some of them. He was like, oh, do it like this, and I had never done that style edit before, and I was like, damn, this looks really cool. I don't know if we necessarily want to pull them up, but
why not?
Because I don't want to name drop anyone, but
Okay.
So yeah,
it's not on my account, but that's me with some fish right there.
yeah.
Is this on your own time, or this is
No,
when you're
no,
out?
no.
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Huh?
I'll show you guys the video later.
Hey,
Is
we can look at my Instagram account. Look at those fish.
Yeah, no, look, go down. I actually I want to see this. Now, is this on your own time, or this is like some of it is on your own time, some of it is when you're out on the field?
That's a great question. That one right there, the red snapper, I was filming them going out on a trip to go do that, and the guy goes, hey, do you want to catch one? And I was like, sure. I mean, I'm all the way out here. We were I think it was like 60 miles offshore or something right there. And then that one right there, that was we went to Louisiana. We did do some filming there.
Black drum,
but
that's
then,
a big boy.
Yeah, we did some filming there, but of course we also had some fun, I mean, we fished in Louisiana for 4 days. I think it was 4 days in total. At least me and Cameron did. Look, I mean, he caught some crazy big fish. But also, you're really not, like, a lot of people called him crazy for getting in the water there because, like,
so many gators in Louisiana.
Yeah, there are definitely gators. I mean, it wasn't like I didn't see like a ton of gators there. There are definitely a lot of gators there, though.
Little water puppies.
Yeah.
So
that's a fun place, man.
Florida. That's a big drum.
Yeah.
No,
Cam actually told me this story
right
about that one.
the winter right before winter starts in Florida, these guys apparently move down here with schools, and you can see them by the pier.
Yeah.
And these are all big boys like that.
Yeah, it's pretty good around. I'm pretty sure it's pretty good around like August and September. That's normally like the best time. But in Louisiana, those fish right there, they're like basically year round in like the Delta. It's getting there is terrible because it's like it's
10-hour
you
drive,
go all the
bro.
way. Yeah, it's longer from here. I think it's like 14 or 16 because
Wow.
you got to go up, you got to go over to Louisiana, and you go all the way down.
Oh, pull up the map real quick.
Yeah.
So you're talking about you're passing New Orleans.
We're in like Venice. If you look up Venice, Louisiana, then you'll find it.
Okay, so you are passing New Orleans, and you're still
then it's
driving
another
down.
2 hours after New Orleans to get there. Yeah. So if you zoom out, so we're basically fishing all like that stuff. Honestly, even further south than that. But
you were around a tip of it. Yeah.
Oh damn, yeah, that's a far drive.
Yeah, so you gotta go like basically all the way around. And Cameron, he had to take his boat. It's not like we can just fly there and then fish. So we just drove, and it was the longest drive like it felt like ever, man.
On a boat? Oh, you were pulling the boat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't.
Yeah.
Fucking take the boat.
No, definitely not in his boat. We'd probably, unless it was really nice out.
A little 18-foot flats
I
boat
think
all
he's
the
got
way
maybe
up the
a
coast.
20-gallon tank or something. Probably wouldn't make it.
Oh yeah.
No, hell no. You're not making that.
But that was a pretty cool trip right there.
Is that the furthest you ever been?
No, like from here.
Mm-hmm.
No, I've been to the furthest I've been is Italy.
Italy for fishing.
No, not for fishing. Just,
no.
Just like
I'm saying for work.
For fishing?
Yeah.
Or for work? Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't think I've gone. No, yeah. Probably.
New York?
No, I've never been to New York for work.
No, for work.
Yeah, no. I mean, and really, our trip to like Louisiana was more about just going out and like having like a good time. But we also had some products and stuff like we could use and film and get some footage of. So we just did 2 in 1. Might as well when you're already out there. It's great. It's a great fishing area. I mean, probably like the best.
Can you pull up
fish.
those fish again? So go down.
What's like the
so
best?
All of these go up. So
All those
so
trouts.
at the bottom right there, that fish was here.
Okay.
That one was here, and then the
I
one
recognize that flat.
And then the one, and then the one to the left of that one, Miguel. That was also here. That's actually a really good trout.
That's
too.
a fucking gator, boy.
Those are really good trout. Yeah, we call that our cheat code spot. Yeah, we did have the camera out there for that one too, just to shoot some photos.
But these are on your own time at this point.
Yeah.
Go down
Everything.
more?
I mean, all three of those down there are just all on our own time.
Go down more.
Which is nice to.
Go down a little bit more.
I didn't learn this until today.
So that's the Italy trip you're talking about.
Yeah, that was a sweet trip, man.
So you were on Amalfi Coast there.
Nugs went in his bag. I haven't seen this before. He went in his bag with the shots here.
I didn't really know how to shoot photos, man. I had an A6500 right there.
I see that.
And I tagged it too. I was being photo boy. And
that's Miguel.
We went there. We had a great time there. It was really cheap too to go.
How many days was it?
We went for, I think it was either 12 or 14 days.
Oh shit, you were there exploring.
And my girlfriend's parents basically paid for like the place. They just I had to pay for my flight, so I got to go for pretty cheap.
And that's your girl, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and I mean it was cool. We went to Positano, and then we went to Rome.
Nice.
Rome was pretty. I mean, Positano was. I guess we were there during like the off season. Like everything was closed, but it was a really cool area. I mean, that place looks like that's nothing that you'll ever see somewhere else. I mean, that's just. I mean, I'm sure you could find somewhere like looks like it, but that's such like a cool look out there.
Yeah. How did you snap a picture of that? Was there like an outlook?
Miguel, if you click into that, yeah, I was on like a sidewalk right there, and it just like it just no matter where you are, you can always like look down at that because it's just like it's so staggered that I mean that was a pretty cool place right there. But apparently during like the summer, that beach down there gets like packed and like I don't know, when we got there like it's off season, nothing's open.
What time of the year was this?
This was March. We got there March 4th. So March 4th through the I don't know, 14th or something.
So it's
something
April
like that.
3rd here on the post.
Well, that's what probably posted. Yeah,
after
when you came back.
I posted it after. Yeah, so
that's something I've always thought about since I was a kid. Even like when social media came around, was posting all your vacation stuff after, because like they always used to say like if you post while you're on vacation, people know, and like you can get your house robbed and shit like that.
Yeah.
No, it's better to post it later. Because you don't know who's looking at your shit and who you need to like tell that you're having fun about. You know what I mean? You just kind of throw it in there like,
So you've been surfing before? I didn't know this until today.
Yeah, that was the story I was telling you about earlier. Yeah, if you go up, there's a photo of me with the surfboard up there. Up a little bit. Oh, there's actually a second one with me with the surfboard. That was actually the trip that happened on, I think.
Is that...
How old are you here? 12?
Wait, is that...
2020? I had long hair right there. I had super long hair. I was
damn, wait,
old.
for a second I thought you were dude. Damn.
No, yeah.
I hadn't looked at dude yet.
Well, this is St. Pete Beach. It looks like St. Pete Beach.
No.
Wait, yeah. Sunset. What does it say up there, Miguel? It might say Sunset Beach. It might say
Sunset Beach.
Yep,
no, but it is in our area.
Yeah,
I can tell by the waves.
Yeah,
we
it's
don't
like
get
the point,
too many waves.
Yeah, somewhere on there. That's the only, and that was actually half decent for like
that day?
Here. Like you never get
waves.
You never get something like that. I think I even put in there. I think there was like a hurricane or something. So
we
were getting something out there.
Yeah, it said no better time to hit the waves than when there's 2 storms in the Gulf.
Yeah, because here the most you're gonna get is probly 4-foot waves, even with a hurricane and everything.
Yeah. Unless you go to like the other coast, which I've been to the other coast, and I'm not good enough to do that. So I get pretty
dude,
messed up
talking
over
about waves, I've never seen waves like that in my life until we went to Bahamas. Bro, the waves were so crazy. They're huge, right by the literally 10 feet away. You were talking about 10, 12 foot waves, and they would hit you, and all that sand in it. It'll just get in your shorts, like you come out like you shit yourself, because there would be like a pack of sand.
Emily got fucked up when we were in Puerto Rico. In Puerto Rico, and the waves, it was only bad like right at the shore where there was like this really bad dip.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm talking about a dip that was like a foot wide.
Yeah, that's just like where they're like breaking, basically.
Yeah, so where the waves breaks.
Yeah.
And it was like maybe like barely waist deep.
Yeah,
right?
That's Bahamas.
Bro, this shit swept her and tumbled her like a washing machine, bro. And it was so bad. She had like a headache for the rest of the day. Like she just crawled up onto the beach all fucked. And we're like probably like I don't know, 60 yards into the water. And so we couldn't tell what happened, right? We just saw her tumble down and then get up and walk out of the water.
So all this is fun and games. Pull up big wave surfers, bro. Like those guys are fucking crazy.
So there's some place, I don't know exactly where it is, but I watch videos of it, and dude, the waves are like, I mean, they're like 100 some odd feet.
Yeah, they'll use like jet skis to pull them onto the wave.
Man, they can't
imagine one of those things coming down on you.
Yeah. Yeah, look at that thing, man. Look at that.
That is a wall
That's
of water.
nothing. That's actually nothing. There's like, I'm talking about.
No, you don't see how small the dude is on there?
There's another one. There's more. There's like, if he actually looks, there are pictures of people. They literally look microscopic in comparison to the wave. Like, I'm talking about waves.
He looked like a speck.
100 foot plus. Do 100 foot plus wave surfing.
Bro, you tell me. He looks like a speck on the screen.
That's still not 100 foot, bro.
Yes, that is. That's definitely 100 foot. There.
No, that's not. Pull up 100 foot plus waves. Just pictures.
You ain't demanding there, Jay.
Bro, like, I'm telling you, you gotta see this. Bro, you gotta see this. Like,
there you go. Portugal.
Up. Yeah, Portugal. That's literally that's literally the picture where it was from. Portugal, it said.
Like, and these guys are crazy, bro. They'll have a jet ski, pull them up on a. See, he's being pulled right now on a jet ski.
Yeah.
And then they'll surf this big, gigantic ass wave that's like 100 foot plus.
I mean, dude, if you fall off of that, you know how the next minute's about to go. The next 3 minutes you're about to go.
Probably gonna die.
You could definitely break some bones right there, especially if it starts crashing down on you like that.
Yeah.
I mean, dude.
Well, the whole thing is that a lot of these waves, the water at the bottom off of the reef is like this much.
Yeah, it's close. Yeah.
Right?
So if you hit the reef,
when the whole thing is when that thing comes crashing down on you, if you hit that reef, bro.
Yeah, you can get messed up.
Yeah, you can get really messed up.
Joe.
God damn it, Joe.
So on that, like I was telling you earlier, on that trip, I'd made a trip to Cocoa Beach. I've been over there like surf like a few times.
Yeah, I'm in there. Cocoa Beach is pretty nice.
They got some crazy waves.
On one of those trips, I got hit in the side with a wave, and I blew my eardrum out, like complete hole through it. I didn't know until I went to the doctor the next day. I was like, man, it didn't hurt, but it was like I just couldn't hear right, or like it was like vibrations were like weird or something, and doctor was like, oh yeah, you got a hole in your ear.
So how did they fix that?
They didn't. They just
so
basically
you still got
said
the hole
just
in your
take
ear?
time. No, it took like 3 weeks to just like
heal up.
It was the weirdest thing, man. There would be like a bike going down, like let's say there was a bike like going down like 49th. I don't know how far away we are right here from like 49th, but it could be like far, and like the vibration was just like insane, like while it was like healing. It was like the weirdest thing ever, and I'd honestly never really thought I'd ever blow my eardrum before. But yeah, and I mean, even my hearing now is like not as great in that ear anymore, but I can still hear out of it. But I mean, that just goes to show that was probably a 3 to 4 foot wave, if that. And I mean, I was just in a bad position, and I looked up and it came over me and just smacked me on the side of the head, and that was I tumbled for like 30 seconds. Got the board flying back at me because it's like tethered to me, and I'm being pulled by like the water.
Shit.
So so I mean, I've been gotten up before, and then like the board is still like there's still tension on like the board. You finally like stand up, and the board's just like flying at you basically sometimes. So yeah.
So speaking of bad experiences on the water, what's the worst experience you've had? Which I kind of have an idea what this is, but. So going out on a shoot, like creating content.
Yeah, so that would be when I got a hook in the face.
Oh, I heard about this story. Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely something. That was like, I was flying a drone around this boat, and there was no one on the boat that I was flying the drone around. I was just sitting there, and like one of like the guys got off and got on the boat that I was on, just so we could get like photos of just the boat. And I'm flying the drone around it. I'm not paying attention to either side of me. I'm just, looking down. I'm looking down at the controller, flying the drone. And the dude on the right side of me was fishing. I didn't know that until
hook and face.
Yeah. So some fish came for like the bait, I guess, and he yanked it out of the water. I think this is probably like the worst part. He yanked it out of the water. The lure came flying out like past me, and then since he thought he was gonna hit me, he tried to pull it forward, and it just like lodged basically like into my face. Like I had hooks down here, and then
So
it had treble hooks on it. It had 2 treble hooks on it.
Jesus Christ.
So there was 6 hooks. There was 3 in my like lip down here that weren't like very deep. I was able to just basically pull them out, and then one of the like a whole set of like the treble hooks, they were just lodged in right under my eye.
Shit.
And I wasn't like wearing glasses or like anything, so like that could have been like a totally bad thing. Like I could have lost my vision like right there. And I had no time to like react. Like there was nothing. I was just sitting there, and then I had a whole lure stretch across my face like the next second, and I was just like, I remember I lifted my hand. God. And I touched my face, and I was like,
"What the fuck?"
And I like looked, and the guy goes, "Oh fuck!" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "This isn't good." So he like helped me get it out. The worst part was my drone was still in like the air, so I got like a lure in my face now, and my drone is still flying. And he's like, "Oh, we got to go to the hospital and all this stuff," because he didn't want to grab it out of my face because like too close to like the eye, you know, and it was buried. Like one of like the barbs was in my face. Like there was no, it wasn't coming out like a little bit. It was just like deep in. So it's like, you know, what do? You can try to pull it out, but it's probably not a good idea right there next to your eye. So I grabbed my drone. We drove. There's no hospitals up there for like a long drive. So I'd had to drive like, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes to get to a walk-in clinic. I walked in. The lady like goes like hand me like the papers, and she goes, "Oh, I see why you're here." I was like, "Yep." I was like, "Yep."
No shit, bitch.
Yeah. Asshole, bro. What an asshole.
Yeah. She like, we like went back to the kid that did it. He was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." You know, he's like apologizing. I'm like, "Look, I just want the thing out of my face, dude. Like, I get it. Like, you can't change it. Look, accidents happen. You know, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. I'm just glad I still had my damn eye."
Yeah.
We get back there, and the lady like, she was too weak to like use the like wire cutter. Well, she tried to cut it, like she was trying to cut it like the barb side. There it is right there. Yeah.
Ooh. Oh man, you got both sides of the treble hook.
Yes, so that was, but like you see like the one is kind of peeking out right there.
Yeah.
So that one they were able to just like push through, but that one that was closer to my eye,
Ooh.
that one was just in, like it was just gone. So they
and you can see where you pulled it out of your lip.
Yeah, yep. That's where it was in my lip. Thankfully that part wasn't too bad, but yeah, that was the hook. And she
what kind of hooks were they? I gotta get some of those. They're pretty good.
They were on a mirror lure. They were like the treble hooks on like a mirror lure. The lady couldn't like squeeze the, like, she had like some, looked like they came out of like a farmhouse pliers.
Because, rusty and shit.
Dude, like, it was crazy.
They were rusty and shit.
I'm laying there on the bed, and she starts giving me these shots in my face. And she's like,
lidocaine probably.
These are numbing shots. And she puts like, she's like, one, and she's like, "Can you still feel it when I touch?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she does the second one. She's like, "Can you still feel it?" Dude, she did that like probably 4 or 5 times, and I was like, "Look, I just got to like a point where I was like, can you just like." I just wanted the damn thing out of my face. Like, it didn't really like hurt that bad. I was just like, you know, worried about my eye. Anyway, she used tried to use the farming tools to get it out of my face.
Getting a tetna while you're,
but she couldn't. she couldn't squeeze down, so she had to get the guy that got the hook in my face originally to come in while I'm laying there and squeeze to try to cut the hook side out of me.
You're sitting there like, I don't want this fucking nowhere.
So what did they do? Did they push it out? Is that what they did, or they had to cut it open?
So the one that was like kind of like peeking out, they just pushed it out, and then the other one that was like really deep, they made like a small cut. Yeah, they made like a small cut, and then they just, I don't know, they pulled it out somehow. I was just worried about my eye, dude. Like, the lady is standing there, she's like, "Oh, your facial nerve and all this stuff," and I was like,
"Don't tell me about this."
And then the worst part,
his mind, lady.
I had a cruise to go on like the next day, so I was like, dude, when I first got hooked, I was like, "Oh no, don't tell me this is gonna like ruin. I'm gonna have to get like some kind of, I don't know, treatment for like I did have to get a tetanus shot. I did have to do that, and then they gave me antibiotics. I didn't take them though because like I was going on like a cruise ship, so you know.
Why?
Probably wouldn't have been well, yeah, so you're really not supposed to drink with antibiotics, and
bullshit. Can you pull? I know what you're saying, but I think
I'm telling you, you're not.
Yeah. No. I know what you're saying. I know that they don't want you to drink while you're on antibiotics. I just want to know why. I think it's just some bullshit excuse where the antibiotics are not going to be as strong anymore.
I looked it up because I was like, man, that's going to really suck. Like, I was about to go on a cruise I had been waiting for like a year.
you should generally avoid drinking alcohol while taking antibiotics because it can worsen side effects, potentially lead to a
What does that say?
Ferum?
Nausea, vomiting, and interfere with body's ability to heal.
and interfere with the body's ability.
Can exacerbate.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. It's
Yeah, I
just
feel
more
like
like
when I looked this up, it looked a whole lot worse.
yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like they're talking about like
Google AI is sugarcoated.
yeah, because
shit.
when you drink, and I guess like you're excreting a lot of liquids.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what antibiotics might not.
I think maybe it has to do with like how it can mess up your stomach because like
And on cruise ships too, there like stomach bugs and stuff like go around.
Really?
They do say that is something to be like extremely careful about, like because then you're killing like all of like the
good
bacteria in you,
microbiome.
and then you could have. I mean, I don't think. I mean, well, knock on wood, I never get a stomach bug on like a cruise ship. But
Well, you haven't been to Mexico like we have been. Shit, my brother got
man.
so bad, bro. Like
dude,
he got so bad for 2 days. He
Really?
couldn't stop.
Really?
Couldn't stop both ways.
Was that because you like drank like
He-
water or
I
something?
think-
Because I heard that can happen. Like, you
Yeah,
can get
I
sick
don't
from
know what
drinking
it
water.
was. If it was the water or the food, because we left the resort. We didn't leave the resort. I don't know if it was the food that he ate there, or it was the food in the resort, or it was the water by accident got in his mouth while he was
Yeah.
showering. But yeah. So the thing with Mexico is like apparently, naturally Mexicans have developed immunity to the specific bacteria, which we don't have.
mm-hmm.
And when that happens, like our body doesn't know what to do. It's just like
So if you eat something, it's just like
it's just you shitting everything
Yeah.
out. pretty
Yep.
much.
That's
I mean, it's
basically
not
what
as
it
bad
is.
as like the India reels. I don't know, I'm sure you've seen them.
I love
where
that
they,
shit when you
scratch
see
their
that.
ass or their balls in India before they hand you the food. You never seen that?
I seen
No,
that
I
shit,
haven't
bro.
seen that.
People are making like parody reels to it where it's like what street vendors in India are like, and it's all these
Oh,
guys
no.
like dipping their feet in like pans of food and then putting it in a bowl and then giving it to you.
Yeah. Like it's bad, man. Like that one. Just pull one of them up. Just no volume.
Oh yeah, there's this guy that rubs the shit in his armpits.
Yeah, because he doesn't have an arm, so he just rubs him. And look, he doesn't have an arm, so he has to flatten his. Yeah, yeah, bro. This is legit. This is a legit thing.
Oh man.
Yeah, like the India stuff, bro. It's bad. Look at where he's working, man. Like just his workbench. Look at the shit, bro. Like what are you doing, homeboy? You know what I mean? Look at that shit, bro. He just like took a shower while he was in. That was the first shower that he took for the day.
Why are these eggs so salty?
Yeah. Rubbed them on his balls. That's why. Look at that. They're washing those plates in a fucking puddle outside. In a fucking puddle.
No way, bro.
In a puddle, bro. Like this is a
And
real
that's not even a
thing.
puddle. That's like over a sewer grate.
It's
Yeah.
piss, dog. No, they don't have a sewer. It's
Yeah.
they just piss on the street.
Like like that.
What is that? What are they crushing?
Some cookies, probably. I don't know.
Some cookies.
It definitely doesn't matter after they stepped on it what they're crushing because I'm not eating it.
I don't know how I feel about buying like street food in India. I've seen like famous influencers go to India and be like, "I'll buy the whole entire thing. You go home." But now I'm seeing like somebody stepping on some cookies.
Homeboy, look, he's like elbow deep in the soup. You know what I'm saying? Like this is nuts, man. Like some of the shit that these guys do, they'll scratch their ass, they'll scratch their balls, and then like continue making your food. But like anytime
It's
you go to
spice of
India, they
life.
specifically tell you
Oh,
it's
man.
not only the spiciness because the spiciness of the food will like fuck you up too.
Yeah.
It's not only that; it's just like
They just don't have like food
the
safety.
hygiene, bro, is zero. It's non-existent. It's
Yeah.
negative.
Over here, you'll get shut down at the slightest look at something like that.
The crazy part to me is they do all that shit, but you can't even have a steak over there
Yeah,
because cows are sacred.
yeah.
That shit's funny. There's that Gabriel Iglesias has that joke of like where he was in a hurry on his way back to the airport from India from doing a show there, and he's like, "Man, these people don't give a fuck. Like I saw 3 dead bodies on the way back to the on the way back
Yeah.
to the airport, but then there was one cow in the middle of the road, and all of traffic stopped. Nobody gave a fuck about Jimmy on the road. One cow, and everybody's gotta wait."
That's in Peru, actually. I don't know if that's India, but in Peru they have this drink where the women usually make this, and it's a root, kind of like a cassava root or like a yucca root, and then they'll chew that shit and then spit it back into the thing, and then they'll fucking mix it, chew it again, and spit it back. But I know why they're doing that, right? Like this, being from a microbiology background, like the bacteria in your mouth is actually what makes the drinks to start fermenting.
Okay.
That's why back in the day, people used to use their feet to squeeze the fucking grapes because bacteria off their feet got in the grapes, and that's
Yeast.
what yeast got, and that's what it.
Created wine.
Yeah, yeah.
Or back in the day, it would be mead, right? Mead, right?
Meat and wine, the same thing. And then that's why that's why your feet smell like cheese, is because it's the same family bacteria
Yeah.
That grows on cheese.
that makes cheese. You know what I mean? So that makes sense what they're doing. But that right there, would you just go back what you just showed right there? That doesn't make any sense to me. That part right there, the last part you just did. That right there does
Like
not make any
cleaning-
fucking sense to
Cleaning
me.
plates
In a fucking
in a
puddle, bro.
dirty puddle.
But there's like shit like floating over there, like literally shit floating over there. You know?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, that's India, and I think there was like a statistic or something like that. Apparently, people in India, this is an actual statistic. I'm not dogging on them, right? Like 500,000 people or something like that don't use bathrooms. They'll just like shit in the fields and stuff like that. Like it's pretty bad. Like specifically India, right?
I hope these fuckers are carrying toilet paper in their pocket.
Nah, bro. That's what they were talking about. They don't even do that.
Indian bathroom.
Bro, this is luxury bathrooms. Like, I don't know what you're opening here. These are the luxury ones. These are the luxury versions of things.
That's how you know things are unhygienic, when they just have a hole in the ground because no one wants to clean a toilet, so everyone just squats over a hole
Well, I don't know what culture
like this.
it is.
You know, they just squat over
I
it.
think a lot of places do that though. Like that's
Yeah,
like
a lot of
pretty
places do
common,
that, yeah.
common thing.
So, I don't know what country it is.
And shit in them.
I don't know
That's
what.
different, bro. It's because you don't have a choice, my nigga. That's just different.
So I don't know what country it is. They're not allowed to use paper because of religion or whatever. So they'll use their hand to wipe their ass. But when you're going to eat, you have to use the other hand to eat. And you, as a foreigner, if you come in, they don't give you utensils. You gotta use your hands to eat. When you come in as a foreigner, you have to know these rules. Otherwise, it's considered extremely disrespectful to use the other hand, the hand that you're supposed to wipe your ass with.
You guys didn't see that dude that went viral for? He was on like a podcast or something, and he told the girl like, "You touch shit every day."
In many parts of
And
India.
he's-
There you go. That's India. Again,
It's not
India.
because
Don't
of
fail.
religious- It's not because of religious reasons. It's because of cultural preference for washing over wiping.
Yeah. So there you go.
Generally use water.
Yeah, but
What the water? Which water are they
what-
using?
Yeah, the puddle water. What are we using here?
Probably the same water that they're washing the plates in.
I would imagine it'd be worse.
But like everything there is just fucking crazy. And like the funniest thing is like 1.4 billion people, and they're expected to surpass everyone
Yeah, they
in
got
a
lot of
world.
people there.
Yeah, and the problem is the logistics, the hygiene. It's so out of fucking whack. You know, they got the country, this damn near neighbor, China, got their shit kind of figured out and making a whole lot of money. Like, the world literally goes to China. But the world has been trying to go to India, and they can't.
say-
Because
well,
passports get lost, shipments get lost, like, when you do that.
You know that India is fucked because of how open it is. China's not as open as India, but they still have so many fucking issues like pollution.
What do you mean open? No. Yeah, no, I'm saying, but like the logistics of things and the hygiene and stuff. Like in India, they have these people, like gold is pretty big. Working on gold is big on India, right? Like these, the guys will work on gold throughout the day, and then they'll go take a shower, right? Once they take a shower, there are these dudes that know that, okay, this time these people are taking a shower here. So they'll go and collect that water, and then they'll follow the sewer pipelines and collect the sewer pipeline water and literally collect the dust that came off their bodies while they were working on gold and make shit from that. Like, they collect actual gold dust.
From the water these
From
guys
the
are
water
showering?
that people showered. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like, India is like, bro, like, they don't fail, bro. Like, they're just, every time something happens, it's like, it's got to be India. It's just.
That's so fucked up.
But I mean, I'm not saying something that's not
Why don't we-
happening. You know what I mean?
I mean, what kind of good food does India? I mean, don't they do curry?
Curry.
Curry's like the
Like
really
their
good one.
chicken-
Naan bread.
Yeah, naan bread, the chicken masala. Like, they use a lot of a lot of butter when they're cooking their food. So the food is actually pretty tasty if it's done.
Yeah, like butter chicken and stuff.
Have you
Yeah,
seen the
that's
guy
like a
that
thing.
is the street vendor that went famous for like he sells like fruit and like watermelons and like smacks them together and starts screaming and shit?
Yeah, like I don't know how this homeboy knows how to fix fucking everything.
Oh yeah,
He's not fixing shit. He's probably breaking it in the process.
yeah, but this guy's like one of those that you bring him something and he'll fix it and he has the part already for it.
Ready to go, yeah.
I don't know. This all looks like a bunch of bullshit to me. I think these guys are the best at
set
faking.
up.
Yeah, like the best at faking shit because they're just doing it so fast and like erratically that nobody pays attention.
He just fucking broke the bitches right out.
Yeah, there's not just like
He
propane
said, now
spewing.
it works. Now it doesn't.
I don't like what's like the goal here? What's he doing?
He's just fixing that fucking stove, bro. Like
okay.
doing it quick.
Hey, what is he fixing? It looked like it worked to me.
Did you see that shit?
Why'd he jump off that like that?
You ever
Open
seen
at 9 a.m., close at 9:10 a.m.
pull up some of those where they're making the tea, like the milk tea. That's something to see. Like that's like a whole thing. Oh, and by the way, in India they also have these rat temples. Well, rats are considered sacred, so they'll like give them milk and shit, and the rats are like just crawling everywhere on top of people while they're giving them fucking milk. These rats will eat the milk. Yeah, this guy's super famous with making drinks in India, and they'll like
What a legend.
feed the rats and shit and drink the same milk the rats just ate out of. You know what I mean? Like it's just crazy. Yeah, he'll be doing like crazy shit with like the way he does it. I think this one was more of like a little more
Chill.
like there's a little chill one. Yeah, there's one where he'll like do crazy shit with the like lift those cups up really high and pour it from like 30 fucking feet away into the cup while he sticks his fingers inside the cup.
Have you ever like been like anywhere over there?
No, not
No.
India. No, I have not.
What's
been
like the furthest like you've been from like here?
from here?
Yeah.
Bro, I was born in Europe, so
Okay.
like
So you've probably been
Yeah.
around a lot of those places and just
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
like. I mean, you can travel pretty easily around there, right? It's like a lot
You
of
can,
trains
but
and stuff.
yeah, the time that I was like, this was pre 2001. I came to the United States in 2001, so
Yeah.
back then they were kind of developing all that, but that was like
So we're
24,
still working
25
on
years
it.
ago. Yeah. But now we might be taking a trip down to Europe, which is going to be almost 3 weeks, and we're hitting a bunch of countries, so
Yeah.
so that should be
I think
fun.
they make it pretty easy now.
Yes.
Getting around like when we went to Italy. I mean, you can get a train from Rome to anywhere. Like you could go all the way north or all the way south. That was just like
Yeah, that's our idea. So if you want to,
easy, cheap too.
yeah,
You
if
do that.
I wish transportation around the states was so cheap. And
Yeah,
easy.
they don't do that here. Not yet.
well, no, wait,
Recently, they did the
I mean,
train
well,
from
like, train
Miami to
stuff,
here.
you know, I think train stuff's kind of cool, honestly.
wait. Transportation is here in the United States. Depends what city you're in. In our city, because it's not as densely populated, and everyone pretty much owns a car here because it's a retirement place. You don't need the transport. But if you go to New York, Boston, Chicago, Baltimore, which is I wouldn't suggest riding the train, but you can. You know what I mean? Like all of these big cities, like LA. You know what I mean? They all have good transportation. It's just got to be a big dense city.
Yeah.
Like when I was in Seattle, they even had boats, ferries that would get you across the bay. If you were staying on the other side, like the Bainbridge Island, for example, you could just take the ferry and cross over. It'd take an hour with a big ferry or 30 minutes with a fast ferry, right? You would go to Seattle and then just a bunch of transportation there too. And it's not just trolleys. They also have trams too, where it's like a train cart by itself
just on, like,
that's
the road.
connected to the electricity on the
Yeah.
rails, and then there it goes. And then you have the trolleys, which is basically like it's on wheels and it's still connected to electricity.
Yeah.
So they'll have that, but not here. Like we're just Florida.
I was in LA one time for like a concert my girlfriend wanted to go to, and the traffic there
Insane.
was like the worst thing I've ever seen. I mean, it was horrible. Like we tried to get to, so from LAX to Marina Del Rey, which was like not that far, right? I mean, it's by car though. It is like we got an Uber there, and it was, I think it was $65 to get
Jesus
there, and
fucking
it
Christ.
was like literally it was not that far. I mean, like here drive time would have probably been like 10-15 minutes, if that. There it was like, I think it took like almost 40 minutes to get there.
Sheesh.
Yeah, and it was just, I mean, it was like terrible.
And they have like 6-7 lanes across in the highways and stuff.
What you know was worse? Texas, bro. Dallas, Texas. Texas is known for having everything big. Their highways are literally like 8, 9 lanes big on each side.
Everything big?
Yeah, size wise, right? Like the biggest steaks.
I'm just fucking with you.
I know where you're going with this one, Mickey. I know. Go pause, bro. Pause. But you like a rush hour, morning time, forget it. So I was on a work trip, and there are two of us going, and this girl that went with me, dude, like the worst idea ever to have this girl come with me, because she was like one of those people. There's like, oh, I don't like anybody driving the car, but yet she had no concept of how to drive a car. Just to give you an example, we're hopping on a highway. We're taking the ramp onto the highway. She starts screaming, like, this asshole, blah, blah, blah. I was like, what happened? She's like, well, he wouldn't let me in. I was like, you're coming off the ramp. You have to watch what you're doing. It's not his job to let you in. Well, he could be a nice person to let me in. I was like, no, that's not how the traffic works. You know what I mean? Like, This is the kind of person. And then I woke up a little earlier in the morning. I was like, I'm not going to tell this bitch that I'm going fucking get breakfast. I'm just going to go get breakfast on my own. Got in the car, drove to the breakfast place. Highway's empty, 7 lanes. Pick any lane. I'm doing little, waves through the lanes because there's just so many of them. I don't care, right? On the way back, bro, it took me to go there 5 minutes. On the way back, it took 45 to get back. Damn near missed when we had to be at that office.
Damn.
Yeah, like
You hit?
Nah, bro. Nah. Mm-mm.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. The moment you brought up that you went on a work trip with a girl, I was just waiting for it to end so I can say that.
Yeah. Nah, bro. Like.
Oh shit! All right, I think we're gonna wrap it up there for tonight. So yeah, appreciate you coming, Nugs.
Yeah,
thank you for joining us.
Man.
It was a good time.
It was fun, dude.
Love to have you on again.
We have to, have you again, because I don't think we even touched the surface of things.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, no, there's never enough time.
Cool. Yeah.
Usually, once we get
That's
started.
a strike.
Yeah, I think what was said right there, that like you said something about?
Yeah, that was Miggy saying everything. Miggy, yeah, that's definitely a strike. I agree. I agree. That's a strike. Miggy sussing out. Hey guys, before you leave, please give us a like. There's 11 of you right now. It does help us a lot. And do share if you want. That'll help us again. But a couple of quick words about our sponsors: UFC Gym Largo and St. Pierce. If you haven't been, you need to go. I was just talking. The reason I say that, I was just talking to a guy there, and he literally said that, and I really never thought about it this way. The gym has the best equipment you can possibly get. This is like Olympic style equipment, whether you want to deadlift or do whatever you want. And on top of that, you have all the other activities of kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, and classes and stuff like that, right? So definitely visit the two places. If you got broken bones, messed up muscles, or you're just getting old, go visit Vitality 1 or 2, cold tubs, hot tubs, recovery chambers, and all kinds of other things. Shout out to our sponsors. Anyway.
Thank you guys for coming in and joining us. Thank you to Nugs again for coming in and joining us.
Sure.
And we'll see you guys next week. Appreciate it.
Peace.